Hello, folks. I am here to do a video about our senior shooters, and I'm going to change that up and say mature shooters because I want to be respectful of our older shooters. So this video is basically from what I've seen on the range, where I see our mature shooters when they're out there on the range, and there are some challenges that they go through, and then sometimes they want to enjoy the shooting sports as much as anybody else. Uh, just face it, folks, we are going to get older at some point in time in our lives. And there's going to be a lot of challenges that we're going to face. And to do the shooting sports that we love so much, we're going to have to make some adjustments. So one of the things I've noticed, what they shoot, the biggest firearm that I see that they shoot, not in size, meaning the manufacturer, is the Ruger Mark IV. The Ruger Mark IV is a very popular firearm for the mature shooters because, number one, it's in 22 long rifle, and also the thing about it is economical for them to shoot at this time. A lot of times, a lot of people are on fixed incomes and so forth. So 22 long rifle is a really good round to basically use to save money, practice plink, and especially for younger children to get introduced to the firearms community. But I see a lot of people uh, as they as they get older, what they'll do is they'll revert back from their 45s to their 22s to keep in skill. And I mentioned the Ruger Mark IV, but Glock in recent years have come out with the Glock 44, and not and recently Sig Sauer has come out with the P322. So those are the firearms that are on the market today that I see our mature shooters use a lot when I'm out there on the range. So another thing is also 22 long rifle revolvers. I've seen that on the range, and as well as some of the rifles. Some of them are lever action, if not lever action types. Mainly, I see bolt action types. So as we get older, there are certain challenges, and a lot of times the challenges that mature shooters go through are mainly arthritis. They have hand issues and issues where it not enable them to rack a slide properly like they used to on their semi-autos, or even with a revolver. Sometimes pulling that trigger can be an issue for some mature shooters. Now, I myself have a hand injury right here. I had that, which ended my career in law enforcement, and sometimes I have to work harder just to shoot. So I can understand the pains that some of these mature shooters are going through. And I have good days and bad days, and it does affect my shooting. And I can really understand what they're going through, and because they really want to enjoy their shooting sport. And I did mention the arthritis and lack of hand strength uh, combined, especially when they're trying to grip a firearm and so forth. Uh, Also, declining eyesight is a problem. Declining eyesight is an issue, especially if you wear progressive lenses, or what we used to call back in the day bifocals. For instance, my glasses here, these are progressive lenses or bifocals. What you don't see here is there is an invisible line here across the lens. So the upper part is for seeing farther, the lower part is for reading. The older style, you would see a definite line that goes through, but on these right here, it's invisible. Now, the problem with a lot of our mature shooters are, since that line is invisible, a lot of times when they try to raise the gun up to eye level, they have an issue getting the two lenses mixed up and then trying to aim, especially if they have a red dot. It really gets bad, because I've experienced that myself. And what happens is with their eyesight is you have two lenses, and and once you put your eyesight between that invisible line there, it gives you a blurred, distorted view. And if you have a red dot, it's going to starburst and become cloudy, and it gets really, really bad for you to see. So when I'm on the range, I try to get the mature shooters to move their pupil above that imaginary line. So I try to get them to move the pupil of their eye over here instead of looking in between. But it is a challenging thing as we get older. There are a lot of things that and factors that happen with us. It's just only human nature. One of the things is when I mentioned about eyesight, at one of the good things about the market today with the red dot revolution is the red dot revolution really benefits mature shooters. And I want to show clear to YouTube, let them know that these firearms are safe to talk about. There's nothing in there. And the red dot revolution is a really good thing. Personally, I'm an irons guy. I always prefer irons over red dots, but I'm trying to break myself in gradually. So I use these two particular firearms. I'll talk to you later about them in a moment. But these two particular firearms have red dots, and this is what I'm trying to get used to. So these are a good aid, especially as you get at that point when your eyesight is failing. And it and red dots, it's not only a savior for probably new shooters. I prefer new shooters to basically learn irons first before they get to red dots. But it is what it is. Technology is what it is. But it is a very good aid for, let's say, a person that's a mature shooter. It will help them view their target a little better and will be able to help them a great deal. Another thing is when you're a mature shooter, you're going to have to fight to figure out what, let's say, trigger you can use for proper finger placement where you can pull the trigger with less effort. And I'm going to use this as a demonstration. This is, as you see, this is not an actual, it's an X5 Legion, one of my builds, but the trigger, you want something that's not going to be too gritty, too hard, and where the person can just pull the trigger at ease. One of the biggest things, because finger placement, finger strength is really tough as you get older. The other thing is manipulation of certain firearms, such as slides. Now, with the Legion version, the spring tension is, to me, easier. So you can move this back and forth very easily. So most of the seniors, when they're in the shop, a lot of them are struggling with smaller firearms. A lot of people make that mistake thinking that smaller firearms are easier to manipulate. It's not true, because a lot of people try to rack slides and pull them back, and usually with a smaller firearm, you have a double captured spring. So that makes it very hard for mature shooters to manipulate. Even with Smith & Wesson put out the M&P EZ. That was supposed to help with people with arthritis. Some people can manipulate that. And the thing about the M&P EZ is a lot of people are trying to manipulate that. It was a great idea that Smith & Wesson had, but one of the problems I see is the backstrap safety. It's a reverse beaver tail safety of a 1911, and a lot of the seniors mature shooters do is they don't get their hand properly. I'm going to use this one. I'm going to use this one. They don't get their hand properly up high because, like I said, it's a reverse beaver tail. Where you depress on a Shield EZ, this will be reversed. So you have to have the proper grip up here, up high, to depress that. And a lot of our mature shooters are not really getting that type of grip. So what they do is they rubber band that grip so they can actually get higher, or they can grip to shoot the firearm. Not recommended, but that's what I've seen people do, because it, like I said, it was a great idea, but it's not working out for most mature shooters, because they need to get a higher grip, and a lot of people don't have that hand strength. So there are a lot of challenges when you are a mature shooter, and the whole thing is you want to be able to have fun and extend your shooting abilities as you get older. Um, and the reason why these two firearms are showcased right here is because I think I looked through my collection, and I think this would be, quote unquote, my mature friendly firearms as I age. I'm 59 right now, so as I age, I'm going to have to make adjustments. I A lot of people are probably saying, "Oh God, do you got a Kimber here?" No, this is one of the ones that work. So with this particular firearm, it works great for me, and I could see myself shooting this for a very long time. And especially with this one, a lot of people will say, well, this weight is pretty heavy with the tungsten weight here. Why would you have a mature shooter use this, and they might not have the hand strength to hold it? Well, there's a couple that have one that have two of these. Husband and wife, they have this, and they love shooting it because they love the way the slide racks back and forth. You got to remember, a lot of the mature shooters, they shoot from a bench rest. So they're not usually standing a lot of times. They are usually sitting in a chair at a bench rest, and they're like this. And with the weight of this helps with the weight, as far as when you're shooting from a bench rest, you're not going to get as much flip because you have this tungsten uh, grip module that holds some weight, and it helps them as they shoot. It's going to vary from person to person, and it's going to vary on whatever type of firearm that you're using. So I see a lot of people that will have these firearms that are polymer, not making fun of polymer, but some of them, when they're shooting at the bench, and it's flipping up like that. So this is one of the advantages of the tungsten grip module. All firearms, yes, they're going to flip up a little bit, but I noticed this seems to be a little bit more comfortable for the mature shooters. Now, with this one, a lot of them are big 1911 fans. This is a 9 millimeter 1911. Some of them will like this, but again, because of the weight and because it's a single action firearm. They don't have to go through the stages of, let's say, like how a Glock is when you're using a striker fire. So it depends on what the mature shooter can feel that they can manipulate. And that is the most important thing. I can tell you what I use, but it's going to be dependent upon what the shooter is going to use and what they are comfortable with. I'm just saying, for my purposes, this is what I would go to if I was reaching that point. But folks, I'm just going to say, these are the things, and these are the challenges that mature shooters go through. I just want people to understand that. So when you see that, you look at yourself and imagining your future as you extend your shooting hobby in the future. So that's all I have to say about this subject. I just noticed it a lot when I see shooters there. Some of our mature shooters are still shooting 1911s and 45 ACP. Some of them are still doing it. But yeah, if you can still do it, go for it, do it. But like I said, there are options out there such as 22s and maybe possibly some 380s. But just remember, as you go smaller And the size configuration, remember those firearms are going to be a little bit snappy. Uh, well, that's all I have, folks. In the future, I'm going to be making a video that's very serious that I've been noticing. It's going to be it's going to be roughly in about a week or two. I'm still compiling my notes, but this is a very serious video that's going to it's going to be a topic that nobody wants to talk about, but this video is necessary for all shooters, and it's very important that you see this future video I'm going to do. I'm not giving any hints right now, but it's taking me some time to do this. So with that said, happy shooting, stay safe, hashtag 2A.